Disease has failed physics. The physics has been running for 4 billion years. There is a rotary motor in every cell of your body, and those motors are programmed by light, water, magnetism, and contact with the earth. That is where the first 4 videos left us. Now comes the volume that changes how you understand your own medical history. When the voltage drops. This is the book that takes the bioenergetic framework and applies it, disease by disease. It begins with a single observation that should reorganize how you think about every chronic illness you or your family has ever faced. Most people believe disease arrives suddenly. You were fine, then you were not. The doctor names a condition, diabetes, Alzheimer's, heart failure, autoimmune disease. The diagnosis arrives like an event, a line in your chart, a before and an after. That is not what is happening inside the body. What is happening inside the body is a slow flood. Imagine a city built below sea level, protected by a system of levees. The levees hold back the water. As long as they hold, the city is dry. The city is alive. Now imagine the levees start to weep, not all at once. One spot, then another. Year after year, water seeps through. The pumps work harder. The reserves get used up. The structure weakens. For a long time, nothing visible happens. The city is still there. People go about their lives. Then one day, a storm rolls in, and the levee fails. Suddenly, catastrophically, and the city is underwater. The headline says the storm did it. The storm did not do it. The storm exposed 20 years of seepage. Volume 5 proposes that the human body is held together by a system of levees, 30 of them, organized into 5 superlevees. The light and electromagnetic environment, the bioelectric matrix of your cells, the water inside you and around you, the lipid membranes that hold your mitochondria together, the oxygen and the metals that keep your enzymes running. These 5 superlevees protect everything you are. When they hold, you have what we call health. When they leak, the water rises invisibly. When they fail, you have what we call a diagnosis. The metabolic failure precedes the plaques by 10 to 20 years. You can see it on a PET scan. The hypometabolism, the energy starvation in specific regions of the brain. The bioenergetic levee failing quietly decades before anyone forgets a name. For 30 years, drug companies have spent billions trying to clear the plaques. The plaques are not the cause. They are the high water mark left behind after the levee broke. Now look at type 2 diabetes. Insulin resistance is real, but underneath, the mitochondria can no longer process the electron load. The lipid byproducts of incomplete fuel oxidation accumulate. They block insulin signaling. The blood sugar rises. Treat the sugar without treating the mitochondria, and you are managing the high water mark while the levees keep eroding. Mitochondrial dysfunction is now documented in the brain tissue of depressed patients. Inflammation impairs mitochondrial complex I activity. The ATP needed for normal neuronal firing falls. The mood circuits cannot generate their normal output. The serotonin story is true. It is also downstream. Cardiovascular disease, multiple sclerosis, Parkinson's, autoimmune conditions. In every single one of them, the same pattern emerges, a levee slowly failing for years before the diagnosis. The framework that connects every chronic disease to the same underlying physics. The map of the 30 levees. The map of the 30 levees. The mechanism by which a quiet failure becomes, 20 years later, the diagnosis that defines the rest of your life. And the most important implication, if the disease was 20 years in the making, then the intervention can begin 20 years before. If the levees can leak, the levees can also be reinforced. That is the next volume in the series. The one that says, given all of this, what do you actually do? But before you can act, you have to see clearly. This volume is what lets you see. When the Voltage Drops, Volume 5 of the Living Energy series by Hornbeak. Read the book.